Hello, everybody.
Hola, hello. How is everyone? I don't know the only Spanish I know is all broken Spanish. It's all like, so that's as far as we're going with that. But yeah, a little different.
I think my favorite word in Spanish is sacapuntas.
Oh, it's a good
pencil
word.
sharpener.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a good word though. That's a good one. It's one of my favorite languages. There's so many fun words in Spanish.
I'm actually on the same topic as learning languages. Matt and I are going to go to the Netherlands for our honeymoon, so I've been trying to teach myself Dutch.
Nice.
Yeah, it's going all right. Yeah,
Very
I'm on my
cool.
second week streak on Duolingo, so
Right on.
I've got that going for me.
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Language. I'm sorry if you were expecting What the Muppet, that's not here this week. We're just going to talk languages.
The podcast is in Dutch now.
Yeah.
I'll be asking if you are a man or a woman and if you'd like to read the newspaper.
I don't know if that's a good idea. I feel like with me, you might not be allowed there. You might, after this episode, they may not let you guys go
we
there.
get blacklisted.
Yeah. We appreciate you all joining us. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
Episode 20.
Yeah, you know
Woo!
what that means.
Mm-hmm.
We get to pick out of the surprise.
Yeah. I'm so excited about this.
Yeah.
You want to start off with it right away?
Let's do
Let's
it.
do it. Yeah.
Everyone's waiting. I'm waiting. You're waiting.
Do-do.
I feel you should pick out of it.
Yeah? Okay. All right.
Go for it.
Very cool. All right, thank you very much. I'll do that. I will go ahead. I think you picked out the first one.
I feel like I did. Yeah.
Either way, we'll figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back and look now, though, too.
Yeah.
So let's see who our lucky winner is to win this great prize. It is Aubin Sprecher. Sprecher. Okay, Aubin Sprecher. I'm so sorry, Aubin. You can missay my name.
He's actually the artist for our podcast.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. Aubin,
He's going to be really happy.
Heck yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, congratulations, Aubin.
Congrats, Aubin. That's awesome. First off, I've been meaning to say, if I haven't already, I love your name, man.
It's a cool name.
Very cool name. Very unique name.
Yeah.
And I kind of would have felt like he earned something anyway. We really love the art.
Yeah,
and
it's been amazing.
I don't think I've had anybody who hasn't got turned on to the podcast not mention, and I love the cover art.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure
so cool.
everybody has said something about it. Really a talented artist.
Yeah, he really is. And you should check out his other stuff at Death by Squirrel on YouTube.
Yeah, be sure to do that, everybody. And a shout out to Aubin and congratulations.
Yeah, you want to see what you won?
Yeah, sure. I love this.
So it's an embroidery punch needle that I did of Dr. Teeth. So I'll add a bigger image on the YouTube, and if you are listening, you can go on our Instagram and I'll put a picture on there.
Yeah, make sure to do that.
Yeah, he looks a little trippy.
A little bit, yeah. Which is cool. Which is so Dr. Teeth.
Yeah, it was a little unintentional for him to look this trippy, but it works. Yeah, it works for the character.
So, again, behind the curtain, my mom and dad, Bree's grandparents were up here recently, and you showed this to us as you were working on it and everything. For at least the first 10 minutes of the drive back, all my mother wanted to talk about is how proud she was of you and this work and everything.
So
and how she could never do anything like this and how great her granddaughter is and all that.
Gosh.
Really loved it.
That's so sweet.
What she mentioned that I didn't catch right away. First, I love that you look at it, you know right away who it is.
Yes, thank you.
And that the detail in the face. I think when you first look at it, especially if you're just seeing it off of from the distance, you're going to see the beard right away and all that. But you really get a chance to look at it. Oh man, the face is just Dr. T's face. It's so good. The detail in it is really good. You were already pretty good at this. You've gotten so great at it.
Thank you. It takes practice.
I could never do it.
There were some parts that were a little finicky. You can't see the back because I covered it, but the back is just it's nuts back there. So to work, because actually, I'm gonna get a little nerdy here, but since the beard is kind of 3D looking, so I had to work from the front and the back.
Oh.
So to get that 3D effect, you have to work from the back. So these are the loops. So what you see here is what the back looks like.
Oh.
And it's just crazy because it's all sorts of colors and stuff. So yeah.
Very
there
cool.
it is.
Wow. That's really, I'm glad you said that. That's kind of cool. I would have never known that. Huh, interesting.
A little while ago, I put like just the back part on Instagram, and I asked everyone to like guess what Muppet it was, and a lot of you did guess it was Dr. T.
Nice,
So
nice.
I'm proud of you.
Well done, everybody. Well
You
done.
got it.
Yeah, congratulations, and congratulations to Aubin again.
Yes, congratulations. What a fun way to start off the
I love
20th
it.
episode.
In another 10, we'll be drawing another winner.
Yes, and I will have to come up with another thing to do.
Now, if I have this right, as we gain followers, we'll add them to the hat.
Yeah, well, you have to go on our link tree and fill out the Google form, and then you'll get your name in the hat.
Right.
It's a really quick one. There's like just a few questions on there.
And quite a few of you have already filled it out. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for that. That is really cool.
Mhm.
We've got plenty, and we want more.
Yeah,
So keep
it
it
just
up,
makes
everybody.
it more exciting.
Yeah. And, thank you to everybody that's already participated, already been a part of it
Yes.
too. Keep on listening. Your name could be pulled.
Yeah. Episode 30. It's gonna come like that.
Yeah. Because
This one's already come.
sure
like
did.
That.
Like it feels like the other day we drew a winner. Like
I
that's pretty
know,
cool.
yeah.
That is really cool.
That's nuts.
Mm.
Well, shall we?
I guess we should get going. Yeah.
Muppet fact/quote hat.
Yeah, now, if you were paying attention to the last episode, we're almost neck and neck with facts and
Yes.
quotes. So let's see if we tie things up here. Last one was a quote.
Let's see if we lose any listeners with a running joke.
I don't know. It's like
It's funny to us.
I liked everything but that.
Yeah.
I had to bow out after that.
Yeah, there's beating a dead horse
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that joke. Well, we are still tied because we have a quote. Now it hurts too if we do the recordings back to back and it's. Anyway,
So true.
this is actually kind of a long quote. I don't look back, I just go forward. I'm just proud of the fact that my parents were immigrants and we had nearly nothing, and all of a sudden, with the help of a lot of people and my parents as a model, I amounted to something. Frank Oz.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible? That's so impactful.
That's weird. I didn't, because I know the universe we're working in here, I didn't know who that, I've never heard that quote before.
Yeah.
I knew it was Frank Oz.
Really?
Yeah, I was
Just like
almost
the
positive it was
tone
Frank
and the
Oz.
voice.
Well, and the part about the family, the immigrants
Okay,
and
I
stuff.
honestly
and
didn't know until I
Yeah.
put that quote in.
his backstory is quite interesting.
Really?
He's got quite an interesting backstory.
What's like the spark notes?
Well, I would say his I think his childhood, and I think a lot of that. And I'm actually, you know what? I'm not going to share too much. I want you to look it up. I want you to look into, not you so much. I'll tell you.
I was gonna say,
I'll tell you.
I'll do some homework.
But I want the audience. Part of what I think is fun about this, is, like very similar with our last Muppet. Certainly not a household Muppet. People had to look up Dr. Phil, I'm sure.
Yeah.
If they didn't already know the character fairly well, they had to probably want to refamiliarize themselves
Yeah.
with it. This is really, and I think we got into this a little bit with the guys at Puppet Masters Anon, who will be with us in the next episode.
Yes.
Shout out to those guys.
Yeah, go
Subscribe and check out their
podcast.
stuff. The people behind these great characters, it's kind of funny to think of knowing like 30, 40 Muppets, being able to go like 50 deep almost in Muppet names and characters.
Yeah.
But who did the voice of that character? Oh, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
it's weird to think of it that way, but that's how so much of us take this stuff in.
Yeah.
As adults, we have an opportunity, I think, to get to know the adults, the people that help make these things.
Absolutely. Yeah.
To me, the more I learn about a Frank Oz, a Jim Henson, any of these characters, these great people, I feel like I care that much more about the art,
Yeah.
that much more about the work.
Right, you're putting the man or woman like behind the Muppet.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
with somebody like, if it wasn't for Jim, I guess we go back. If it wasn't for Mr. Henson, I think that Frank Oz would probably be the most creative, arguably the most creative person in the Muppet universe. Like
yeah.
the what he did as a voice actor,
Yes, yeah.
let alone. Frank was integral in so many of the creation of the characters, or at least they'd have a Muppet and they have an idea, but they may not have a voice or a little bit of depth and little meat on the bone, and
Yeah.
Frank would add that.
Yes.
With the things that he would do.
Yeah.
From what I've read and from what I understand.
Right, it kind of seems like he was Jim, like always right by Jim to jump in on something.
When you're thinking of names behind the scenes of the Muppets, I gotta think that he's the second or third name that pops up.
Yeah, definitely for me. Yeah.
So with all of that, I think with the quote, he's giving you something there, a little insight into his life, his past, and something incredibly relatable.
Yeah.
Right? very few of us are born into royalty, our entertainment royalty, if you will. Not everybody has grown up as a Stiller or something like that.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller's birthday. When we're recording this, it's Ben Stiller's birthday, so I thought of Ben Stiller right away.
Oh, really?
Thought of that great family
I
he
love
comes from.
Ben Stiller.
Great.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller, incredibly talented.
Yes.
Very good actor.
And director.
And director. And I encourage people to, something Midnight that I can't think of right now. He had a serious role he did, and he knocked it out the park. He was great. He did a really good job.
Yeah. Have you, on the same vein as like Ben Stiller, have you seen The Secret Life of Walter Mitty?
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I really did too.
And he
really liked
directed it.
Mhm. Yeah.
Ben.
Yeah, great. And as talented and wonderful
So
as Ben
talented,
Stiller is.
Yeah.
He is the third most talented, funny person in that family when his parents were alive. Because the Stillers, Jerry Stiller alone.
Yes.
Just Jerry Stiller, amazing.
Very iconic.
But even those two would be the first to tell you that his mom was the most funny and most talented one of the three of them and everything. That's a little bit like that. With like we don't all get to grow up in a family like that.
Yeah.
So many people make their bones with no connections, with just a break and talent.
Yeah, and I love
so
the
much of the
callback
industry comes to
it.
that. Yeah. And I also get from that too a guy who hasn't forgotten where he came from.
Yes, exactly.
Which I think is really important no matter how far you get in life. And I don't mean if you're successful or not, I mean just how far you get in life. You cannot forget your roots.
Yeah.
You just can't.
It's essential.
Every person that I've looked up to, any person that I've seen accomplish anything in life, there's some common themes, and that is one of them. They don't forget where they came from. They have a lot of respect for their roots.
Yeah, I think that humbleness just like draws people into you.
Ooh, here we go.
Thank you for the great quote, Frank Oz.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Oz. Thank you for everything, Mr. Oz.
What a cool name, too.
Oh, great name. Yeah,
Just
great name.
So amazing.
Yeah, it's funny with names, too. And I am doing this to prolong pulling the name. I found this out the other day. One of our more popular journalists and people that cover news, Wolf Blitzer. CNN, face of CNN in many ways. Wolf Blitzer, one of the biggest journalists in the last 20 years, certainly, and certainly one of the bigger journalists for CNN. His actual name is Wolf Blitzer.
Wow.
Like that's if
the man was just born into the role.
Yeah, it just feels like one of those names like he made that up. Like there ain't no way that's his real name. No, it's his real name. That's his real name. And I thought that was quite interesting.
I actually have a question. It's a question that my mother-in-law asks if you have a coffee shop name. So when they ask for an order, so hers is. I hope she's not gonna mind if I share. She's so nice. But hers is Tess.
Oh, I love that.
I'm right. She's the cutest. Yeah.
Oh, she is wonderful. I
Yeah,
love that
she's
woman.
the
I've only met her once, and I love her.
Yeah.
Anything that those two need, his parents, Matt's parents, I'm right there. Like they can call me up anytime. Yes, yeah.
Do you have a coffee shop name?
I do now. Like
yeah,
I will, from now on going forward, I will definitely be giving a fake name to because. When I was little, there was a stretch there, as proud as I am of my name, and I actually am a little embarrassed and ashamed of this, but it's too good not to include in the podcast. I spent in 6th grade a good couple months, if not a year almost, determined that I was going to change my name when I was 18.
Really?
My dad originally, the name James comes from my dad's side of the family, and I'm the 4th James, him the 3rd, your brother JC the 5th. My dad, though, didn't want to name me James, because growing up, he dealt with the same thing with his two, his dad and his grandpa, Jim, and they all turn around, and everybody's Jim and all that, and he wanted me to have a different, more unique name. So my name was going to be Vincenzo.
Really?
That was what he was going to call
Vincenzo.
me. And when I heard that in 6th grade, I'm like, that's such a better name for an actor. If I could be James or Vincenzo. Of course I'm going to choose Vincenzo.
Right.
And I fell in love with the name. I was going to change my name to Vincenzo. I was so determined. You talked to 6th grade me. And I actually got in trouble. My parents got called by the principal because I was signing my papers. Vincenzo. I was signing I'd take a test in Vincenzo. Who's Vincenzo? The poor teacher's up there. I got a student I didn't know about. Such a weird kid.
That's funny, but that
a weird kid, a weird adult.
Yeah, that's where
some things don't change.
That's okay. Yeah, we need weird people in the room.
I forget sometimes that we're recording these things, and I get
Until
going,
you
and I'm
look
like,
over there.
hey, hey there.
Our quiet friend over there. So that would be your coffee shop name, though?
What would yes, Vincenzo would be my coffee shop name.
Okay.
What would yours be? Or do you have one?
Yeah, so kind of going off of what you said, just really quick, when I was growing up, my name always got confused with like Brian.
Oh, I can see
Or
that. Yeah.
or like people thought I shortened it from Brianna or something. So I wanted just like a simple name. I hated up until senior year, every first day it was Brian Kruger for roll call.
Yeah.
So
Jamie Maloof. Yeah.
Nice to meet you. So like growing up, I wanted to change my name to like Jane. I thought that was a really pretty name. But I think now I really like the name Mia for like it has a little bit of like a mystique to it. So I think if I was somewhere like a town or something and I was by myself and I'd be like, what's this oat milk latte? Who's it for? Mia.
I like Mia. I like that.
Yeah.
I love your name. So I would
Yeah,
not want your.
I
I'm a
don't
little
wanna change
biased
my
on
name.
this one. I'm a little biased.
I like my name now,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
growing up it was hard, especially being so quiet and having to be like, it's not Brian.
I
It's
wonder
Bria.
if the Mias and the Vincenzos, if they have moments like that growing
Ooh,
up,
yeah.
because it does seem to be almost a rite of passage, or at least something that we all go through.
Yeah.
At least at one stage or another. Maybe we don't. Maybe it's just just us and nobody else is. Everybody else out there is like, what are they talking about? But I'm pretty sure that's something I've heard other people comment on and talk
Yeah,
about.
definitely. The rite of passage is a good way to put it.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess we should
Okay,
probably
I
draw.
guess.
All right, but I am going to do some rumbling. I'm going to do a little bit of a good rumble.
ASMR.
Yeah, get a little bit in there.
Hear that, hat.
Yeah.
It is a very a pivotal moment in our show
It
every
is.
time.
All right, let's see. Who is
Who's it
our
gonna
next
be?
guest? And it is
What's it?
Statler and Waldorf.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
How fun!
Oh, so for the rest of the episode, we will be playing Statler and Waldorf.
I think like I need like a little refresher on. Okay, that's Waldorf, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
just had to make sure. The shorter one is Waldorf. Stellar is the taller one.
Yeah, at least
Right.
I'm pretty certain of that. Yeah, you know what?
Let's phone it.
Yeah, let's phone it. Go into the phone lines.
Oh my gosh, my father.
I'm so excited about this.
My father-in-law's gonna be excited about this one too.
Uh,
I think either him or my mother-in-law like recently asked if we put them in the hat together. I was like, oh yeah, of course, they have to be together.
And I think that's a great place to start.
Yeah.
With them having to be together, they are
Yeah.
intertwined. They are they are so together.
Yes.
I don't know if they. I'm pretty certain they've never done a scene without the other.
I don't think so. Not that I can think of. It would be kind of sad.
I love that I Googled this,
Yeah.
and right away the first question people are asking is which one was Statler? Waldorf is the one with the rounder face, white hair, and a mustache.
Okay, so we were correct.
Statler has a longer face, bushy gray eyebrows, and a cleft chin.
Love that.
They first appeared as a pair in the 1975 pilot The Muppet Show.
Aw, they've been there from the beginning, just heckling away.
Um,
The OG hecklers.
They are the first real true hecklers in entertainment, I think, as far as, like, not the first hecklers, of course.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure there were hecklers in, like, the very first stand-up that was ever
Yeah,
done.
Shakespeare
Yes,
definitely got his
absolutely.
fair share.
Oh, yeah, I believe
Yeah.
that. But they entertainment-wise, I don't think that there was a lot of representation of that on TV.
Yeah,
there was a lot of
no
that.
heckler rep.
And speaking of representation, in the Muppet universe, two of the only senior characters.
Oh yeah.
I don't think you have almost any other senior characters
Not a
back
lot.
then. You don't even have a lot of adults, let alone seniors
Yeah.
represented in the Muppet universe.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, and the only other thing that comes into my mind is like Fozzie's mom.
Yeah,
But
there's
that's like a
some
photo,
couple.
I think.
Certainly recurring characters.
Yeah.
Not a
Yeah,
lot of
recurring
that.
characters. Yeah.
Which is integral to the telling of Muppet stories, because you so much of it is, whether we realize it or not, whether they realize it or not, is representation, and covering the rainbow and the gamut of people and creeds and all that. They do them, along with Sesame Street, the best to ever do it.
Yeah.
And long before society kind of like guilted them into it, they just did it, which is noble, I think, and pretty cool.
Very, yeah.
These two individuals are so intertwined with my comedy and forming my not only style of comedy, yes, and what I love of comedy, but me realizing early on, no, that's what I laugh at. That's the kind of stuff that I think I'm gonna find funny. I'm a big fan of dark, sarcastic comedy. I love a good bit of that, and those two are two of the masters at it.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Anytime the camera went up to them
Here we go.
Yes, exactly. You knew. Oh, I'm gonna laugh at this. There's never been a scene I didn't laugh at of theirs. I can't prove that, but I'm positive. I never saw a scene of theirs I didn't laugh at. They are also kind of, I think, a bit generic looking intentionally to kind of like anybody watching it might get into.
Yeah.
And just one other real quick note. I'm sorry to be taking over so much of the conversation.
Okay.
I love these guys.
I love it.
I also think that there's the representation and the relatability of the Muppets, and for parents, adults, that wasn't lost on them, that parents and adults would be watching these shows. And I don't know if it was intended or not, but it was a bit of, hey, this is for the adults.
Yeah.
This is when you're watching Pixar or Disney movies nowadays, and they're so good at intertwining that little bit of adult humor, that wink and nudge to the parents watching. I feel like they were a big part. They were that in many ways.
Like we've mentioned before and touched on, I think that Jim Henson and the Muppet Universe really did a good job of reeling that in. Like, hey, this is for the whole family.
This was the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like these guys, what they did, they were the blueprint for everything to follow as far as how do I do something that moms and dads can get into, but the kids aren't going to notice. It's not such a like, Mom, what was that, Joe? Like, nothing, honey, nothing.
I think you have to have a serious conversation.
Right. Like, oh, great, here we go talking to birds and the bees now.
Didn't expect this.
Yeah, right. Thanks, Muppets.
I need a glass of wine.
Right. Perfect combination of that by them, and those two, Statler and Waldorf. So.
Yeah, that's a good segue. How would you describe them?
Cranktorious, I think, is a good way. A good way of looking at them. Grumpy, but I'll say this: like, I think that they think they're grumpy old men, but them when they're interacting,
they're young again.
Yep, young and happy. Yeah. They're happy. They end every sketch laughing. Laughing at each other's jokes, making each other laugh. They're two very old, wonderful friends that I don't think. I don't think that they necessarily care if anybody laughs at what they're saying, but they do care if they make the other laugh.
Yeah, they're in it for each other's commentary, definitely.
They don't care if they make any of the other Muppets or the Watcher. I think they're thinking about it this way too. They are one of the fourth wall breakers.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like they every time you see them, almost it's breaking the fourth wall.
That's a good point, because I feel like obviously like I knew that, but I didn't ever like say it out loud.
I didn't think of that either until now. And that's another one of my favorite things in comedy and in entertainment. I love when people break the fourth wall.
Me too. It's so funny.
Yeah, and I like certain shows that do it better than others. Or I like certain times it's done better than others, I think. I think a good example, if you don't know what we're talking about, The Office is pretty popular. Most people have seen it.
Yeah, that's the first thing that popped
Jim
in my head for reference.
Looking at the camera, that kind of thing that John Krasinski mastered. I think there's a little of that. And these two are the essence of that. They did that almost every scene they were in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, very stereotypical older kind of people lookers.
When I don't know, I didn't put this together again until we're sitting here and we're dissecting it. But I remember when I was younger, I just dove into things way too deeply, and I remember thinking how do these guys know each other? And I was around a lot of my older relatives a lot, so I had a deeper imagination to this extent. But I imagined that their wives were friends, or their wives or their partners were friends. That. Yeah, and maybe they're not around anymore, but they always stayed friends, or they were in the war together and they're vet buddies or something. So that's what I always imagined their background was because I'm just a person that needs context, even if it's made up. I'm just invent my own context.
I put backstories to everything in life.
Yeah, especially for your characters, for theater and stuff.
I've been doing that for so long that I kind of find myself doing that, not only with imaginary characters, but even with like people that I run into, like a person I know I'm never going to see again or something like that. I kind of end up doing that unintentionally.
That's
just
like
kind of
next level people watching.
Yes. Yeah, and next level insanity. A little of both, a little column A, a little column B.
We're here for it. We like it. I also imagine that so they enjoy each other's commentary. They don't always enjoy what they're watching on the stage, but they have this really nice box seat. So I imagine just like out of spite, they have like permanently bought that seat so they can just be there to heckle them.
I love your backstory of them and the wives thing. I will always think of that now with them.
Aww,
I really will, because for me, I created a backstory too with them, where of them just being lifetime friends. I actually think of Papa and his best friend. He had a good friend, Arthur. I can't remember. He lived in Kansas City, and I think a little bit of that. I didn't get to see them interact too much, but when I did, it was a little bit of two old friends who had a very sarcastic sense of humor and stuff. And but I like your backstory. I also like the idea of they like, because it's the Muppets and ticket sales are going to be as crazy as anything else in there. Like they sell like one ticket to one and one to the other, and they show up and they're like stuck in this like they're just stuck together. They just randomly meet each other and everything, and they kind of they're grumpy at first, but then as the bits start going on and one tells a joke and the other, and they realize, you're
the funny one.
You're all right.
Yeah.
So they don't
Same time
admit
tomorrow night.
Because they don't seem like the type of people that, like, I don't believe that those two have had a heartfelt moment where, like, Waldorf, I'm really thankful for you. Thanks for being there through all this and stuff.
Stetler, I'm really worried about you.
Hitting
the bottle a lot.
I don't think that they have those conversations. It seems the only time they talk is this, when they're sitting there together. I don't think that's the real backstory, but I like that as a side, like one version of backstory for them.
I like all of the different potential backstories that they could have. And if you have a backstory for Stetler and Waldorf, comment, message us. We love all the Muppety comments and things.
I gotta think this is one of those ones that's gonna bring that out of people too.
Oh yeah, it's definitely.
We've done a lot of fun characters, but these two, it's
like a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones where with bigger name characters, I think they're a little more divisive almost. Where I don't think any of these characters people hate, but you either like or you love. I think it's more of that. With this one, it's such a. Do you know anybody who doesn't really enjoy these characters?
Yeah, very universal.
Even people who aren't into sarcasm or darker humor or meanish humor or anything like that. I also think one other quick last note on these guys. So many of these characters have some base or some essence of like a big star from the 50s, 60s, 70s or something like that.
Yeah.
And growing up, one of my favorite comedians of all time was Don Rickles.
Okay.
I don't know if you're familiar with who Don Rickles is.
Yes, a little bit.
The insult king. Don Rickles, the greatest insult comic of all time. Nobody will ever top him. Part of the reason I say that is because Don Rickles would shred people, shred his audience. And, and people would continue to come back and see him.
Like the originator of a roast
Yes.
comedy?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
While at the same time, he would end every single show he did with love. Like, we tease we only tease the people we love. We only make fun of the people we love. And I love all of you, and thank you for coming, showing up tonight and all that.
Yeah.
I get a little of that with these guys. I wonder if as big as Don Rickles was at the time of the creation, the early days of the Muppets, I wonder if there was a little bit of that in there.
Maybe, that's a cool connection.
I also wonder, too, if, Jim Henson and a lot of these guys, they did a lot of live stuff. They probably dealt with hecklers. I wonder if they, what came first, these guys or the hecklers, I wonder.
Yeah, that's a good question. Oh man, have you dealt with like a heckler before?
Oh yeah,
really?
yeah. And now with on stage as an actor, I've only dealt with a little of it.
Yeah.
It's mostly doing like live remotes and radio. I've dealt with it there,
I didn't even think of that.
You get people who. For every person that just, you're on the air talking and they want to shout in the background and stuff, there's that stuff. Yeah. I don't really count that. I mean more the person of, hey, you suck, or, I hate your name, and these kind of things and stuff. And
why? Why is that necessary?
With anything like that, I am a big believer in killing it with kindness. I'm a big, going to that level never works.
Yeah.
And I'm not great at, as much as I find that kind of comedy funny, to a degree. I'm not a big, I mean, even it's my worst enemy in the world in front of me, I got no interest in downgrading them and talking trash to them or anything. I don't really want to spend any time on them.
Right,
They're my worst enemy. They're my biggest enemy. Yes, exactly. I'm very careful. I choose my battles wisely.
Yeah.
That is something Papa taught me, and that's something that I carry into every layer of my life. And so with a heckler, I'm going to put my energy into the positive part of the audience. I'm not going to worry about them. But I have dealt with it, and I have seen some people really good at dealing with hecklers, like people who are just masters at it. And I really kind of admire that almost as much as my approach.
Yeah, I'm sure if you were a stand-up comedian or something like that, you would almost have to have like a backup pocket of like, okay, if there's a heckler, this is what I'm going to do.
I will say, I don't care how bad the art is, how bad the entertainment is. I don't think there's ever a scenario where heckling is cool. Like, heckling is okay. Like,
the only thing I could see is, like, calling out if there's something really uncalled for that, like, a comedian or anybody said, like, you know, something, like, really off the cuff, not okay.
I saw a show recently, I'm not giving any details or anything, but that I probably could have walked out of. Like, only because of one in particular performance, but I probably could have. And all I could think throughout and there is very few people in this world that get more intense about acting than I do. Yeah. I admit that I am insane when it comes to that. Yeah. But even with that, all I could think about was the other actors and what they were going through. And it's not fair to them to walk out or to take a bad experience from the play when they're working so hard and everything. In that scenario with like a stand-up comedian, which what we think of usually with roasting or you know, hecklers, mostly, which is another interesting part of this. Well, they heckled skits. They heckled like actual like plays that were going on. That's not something you usually do. You usually heckle a comedian, a stand-up comic or something.
They were just savages.
They're even more savage than we realized, I think. With the more of the play part or a stand-up comedian kind of thing. That's more of a one-on-one, and I think that's almost worse in a way. Like, 99% of the people heckling don't have the fortitude to do what that person's doing on that stage. No, not at all. It's kind of like the keyboard heroes. The keyboard cowards out there. The people that cannot wait to throw some trash or some dirt on something. And usually they do this without their real name, of course. And these are the type of people, if you confronted them in real life, would lower their head and not be able to make eye contact. And real people, first off, can keep their comments to themselves. Not everybody wants to hear your opinion. You know, just because you have a fellow, everybody has to hear my take on this. Like, no, we don't.
Nope, actually not.
But also can take a realization of, you know what? You can think that stuff in your head. I'm not saying anything about that. You can think anything you want in your head. That is free game. That is anything you want can go on out there.
If you're going to say something out loud, think about how it's going to affect the people around you.
There are certain things, if not everything, if my mom is listening, that when our moms told us they were right on. And really, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say nothing at all. There's something to that. Unless you are Don Rickles or Statler.
Right, the exceptions.
A few exceptions, but there's a couple. Those they for me, they're such a big part of my comedic. What I like now, I've never heckled anybody, and I never would. There's a line in the sand for me about it, but their style of comedy and the sarcastic like comeback.
The little jabs.
Oh, I love it.
Well, let's put them in a scenario. This Muppet hat for Stetler and Waldorf. This is going to be so fun.
I'm looking forward to this. Oh, it's good.
If you saw this Muppet, or if you saw these Muppets behind bars, what was their crime? They could pull off the orange jumpsuits.
Yeah. So I don't think this is what they did, but I immediately thought of them as like in an Ocean's 11 kind of scenario.
Ooh, a heist.
I like them doing a heist.
They're the ones that got caught.
But that wouldn't work because I don't think the heist would actually ever get off the ground. They would be like anytime. Let's just go ahead and throw a bunch of Muppets together. 10 Muppets with these two. no matter who it is, Kermit's up there, playing the George Clooney role, and he's decided. So what we'll do it at 10:15. We're doing it. They will never get to 10:30 because
No.
Statler Waldorf would never. That would never work. Yeah, great idea for a frog. Something like.
I'd go get a coffee.
Yeah. And they'd never get the whole bit would never finish.
Right, or they're talking so loud all the time that people hear their plan and the police are already on top of the heist and it's like taken down before it even starts.
Everybody's in position, everybody's doing their thing, but they're still acting like they're in the balcony.
Exactly.
Like they're still, yes, and it's crashed and it's broken before they ever even get anywhere. I love that.
Oh my gosh.
I could see them doing some time for like noise complaints. Like maybe I could see that being a thing. I don't think you can get I don't think that there's actually prison time you could do for noise complaints. But in this scenario, I like the idea of them getting in trouble for making too much noise at night or something like.
Yeah.
they're because this is them. Mm-hmm. I don't think that this is a put on or just when the camera's on them. This is they turn it on. Everyday life, they're doing this, and they're at the coffee shop, and they're ripping on the barista.
Right.
They're heckling the barista. They're heckling everything. And they do it with inanimate objects too, like the TV. They're heckling. That's what I wanted to watch. Way to go, TV. Yeah.
Stupid TV. They're adjusting the bunny ears because they still have that going on.
Their shoe comes untied. Way to go, shoe! You had one job. I really think this is them all the time.
I love that.
So here's one. They're locked up for interfering with a police officer.
That's immediately what I thought.
Yeah, because they didn't do anything too heavy, but the officer's just trying to do his job.
I've seen a toddler do
giving
better job than that.
Like giving a parking ticket or something. Oh, that took a while. Like, did you have to think about that one?
My tax dollars are going.
Like, sir, I'm trying to do my job. Please, if you guys would please continue on. They just keep standing there following them. Like,
I think that's what it is.
I'm gonna have to write you up if you don't leave me alone.
Oh, you sure you can handle it? Oh.
That's it, writing it up. I told you I would do it.
Catch up if you can, and they're like, they're slow-mo walking, but they're like going really fast.
Come here,
I don't have time for this. They didn't cover this at the academy.
I like those. I think the as far as the opposite end of that would really surprise me. Like, did you hear what Statler and Waldorf did?
Right,
like,
they really went off the edge.
Like stealing. I could never see them as thieves.
I know.
I could never see that.
I was trying to think of like a go big or go home thing that they would do, and I was thinking if there was like an old cars museum or something, and them like taking it out for a joyride car thing is what I could see them doing.
I like the idea too of it's maybe it's a little bit it's still the same thing where this is who they are. They're hecklers 24/7, but heckling each other a little bit to the point of like coaxing each other, like, oh, hey, look at that beautiful Rolls Royce over there. Wouldn't that be nice to drive? Oh, you'll never drive one of those. Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You never drive one. I could do it. I bet you couldn't. I could drive that one right there. You couldn't break in. Watch me. And it escalates into a situation where they wind up in jail.
That's perfect.
I could see that a little bit.
Now I kind of want like a crime, like, maybe not a full movie, but at least a sketch or something.
We've done this a couple of times where we put the Muppets in adulterer situations.
Yeah.
And even they have themselves, Jim Henson's company that's still around with his wonderful, son and daughter and stuff, creating such good work that they're still doing. They've done a lot of that. In some points, to some people, too far. They've taken them in some ways, but. That movie they did with Melissa McCarthy and stuff, the Muppet movie, I can't think of the name of it, Muppet Murders or something like that.
Yeah, were they on, that was part of their team? I'm
99% sure that it was Jim Henson's son that was behind that. I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong, and I apologize.
I didn't see it.
It was a little out there. I watched it because I love Will Arnett and Melissa McCarthy.
They are wonderful actors.
It was good. I was happy I watched it. Just I think for some people that, especially if you grew up
jarring.
Yeah.
I could see that.
But of all the characters, these two would probably be the funnest to put in a adult situation.
Oh yeah, like just like hearing one of them swear, I think I would like giggle like a little kid and be like, if I heard any of the Muppets swear, oh my gosh, I would be like. it would be weird, but also a little like giddy, like.
It'd be both. It'd be both. Where you're immediately a little kid and like, oh, he said swear,
Right.
and also like, he said swear. Definitely be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Like I was thinking of a car chase. I can think of that.
Fun.
I think that they'd be good in that.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think those. I'm trying to think of smaller crimes because I tend to think so big. But I'm trying to think of like smaller things. I don't know.
Crime or something. I couldn't really think of any petty crimes either, but I like the ones that we thought of, either like coaxing each other into a crime with a joyride type thing, or harassing a police officer.
Please don't do that. Please don't.
No. We do not condone any of
those. They got enough on their plate. The good officers out there got enough on their plate. Let's not mess with them.
Oh, we could cover our favorite Stellar and Waldorf moments before we pull into that hat.
Sure. Now, I'm not going to be able to recite a line or remember a line or anything like that, but I do remember them being one of the first, like kind of characters that I was drawn to and enjoyed.
Like that's so nice.
There was not one Muppet character that I didn't love. Loved them all. You just like there was just ones you liked more than others.
Yeah, of course.
It's documented my love of Gonzo and that, and I think Fozzie was probably second to Gonzo. Ralph right there with them too. But these two are in the top 5 for me. My top 5 most influential Muppets. I don't know if my favorite, but definitely influence-wise.
I like that. Influential Muppets. I like that. I think, were you going to add more?
No, I was going to set you up and then you were going, so I was just going to get out of your way.
Going back to A Muppet Christmas Carol, they did such an amazing job being Marley, and I like that they broke Marley's character up into those two.
I forgot about that. Good reference.
Thank you. And they, of course, they're goofy and silly, but they actually did such a good job playing a serious, grim role. Yeah. That song that they sing, what a bop. It was really good. Yeah. And with like the chains.
I'm going back and watching that now. Yes. I was going to watch it this time of year anyway.
Yeah. I usually at my in-laws we watch Christmas Vacation and and Christmas Story. And I asked them this year, I was like, so... Because they both listen to the podcast, I was like, can we watch a Muppet Christmas Carol now that I'm officially in the family? I was before, because they're so nice. But
wonderful
they're like,
people.
Yeah, this last time I was over there, Matt's mom was like, yeah, so you want to watch the Christmas Carol? Yes, I do. So I'm so excited for that. But yeah, I think that was such a perfect, like, role for them. Brian Henson did such a great job with that.
It's a good fit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Here we go. Here we go, gentlemen. That's
you.
You.
Me, yeah.
That is
to
all
think
you.
about it. We've been talking for a while on these, and we can't remember from hat to hat.
From hat to hat. I like that.
Let's see. Would you go for a night on the town with this Muppet or Muppets?
Yes, we go.
Yes.
What does a night on the town look like to you in this circumstance?
Well, it's going to have to start early.
It's a boys' night.
Yeah, it's going to have to start early with these guys because I'm guessing it's probably an early call time for them. It's probably
or
an early.
They're rowdy. I can see them being rowdy, honestly.
Either way, if they're hanging out with me, they're probably going to have to stay up a little later than the normal time. So it's going to start early. I think with these two, you're going to have a wilder night than you realize. Like you're gonna whether you know them really well or not.
More than you know.
Yeah. We'll go out and have a couple. We'll go out and have a couple drinks at the bar, and by like 3 a.m, you're like, where am I? How am I at a zoo?
God, what's my name?
How did I end up in a zoo? It's like,
why are we in the otter exhibit right now?
Why am I in the Hangover 5? Why? How did this happen? What happened to Hangover 4?
Oh my gosh!
I feel like it's that kind of night. You're definitely gonna. It is not gonna be a normal night. There's nothing routine about that night.
No, I see them being like so cooped up all the time, and no one ever like thinks of taking them out. And you're like, hey, Stellar, Waldorf, like it's been a while. Let's go grab a beer, and they're like, oh, you don't even know.
I like them being very hey, you guys, you want to come out with us? They invite you out or something, and like, yeah, sure, and you don't realize that it's they've got plans.
Yes,
and
that's
it's
exactly
insane.
what I was thinking.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't feel like as much as I feel like we're kind of like creating this ourselves. I don't think we're wrong. I feel like these two are wild off stage. There's nothing normal.
It's
You're not going to be sitting
brand for
around.
them.
Yeah, you're not just going to be sitting around watching soap operas. You're
Right.
definitely going to be doing something.
For all we know, up in that booth of theirs, they have a little flask down
Oh,
here
yeah.
that they're just like taking pulls off of.
I don't think that'd be a shock. It might be more surprising if they didn't.
Right. Yeah. So I don't really.
I love the idea of a Muppet flask now.
Oh, yeah, that's cute. It's got to exist out there.
Yeah.
Like, go on Etsy or something.
Do it.
So I'm not really much of like a drinker anymore. Even when I did, it was very like occasional. But when I was in situations where I was out with like somebody, like some friends of mine, they were kind of pushers and I was the acceptor. So
right.
I could see going out with them and they're like, hey Stella, let's see if we can get this chick like off her feet.
Yeah.
And then they're like, come on, have another beer, I bought it for you, like you need to drink it. And then kind of like you were saying where they like hype each other up, like you can't do this. I'd be like, I bet you can't get on that bar and do the I don't know.
Do a Coyote Ugly kind of thing, like Statler Wardrobe, do a kind of Coyote Ugly thing, or
oh no.
or the bucking bronc, or the
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 mechanical bull.
Yeah, the mechanical bull.
Oh,
Yeah, I
I
like
could
that
totally
too.
see
And
that.
Them both thought of it at the same time.
They have to do it together. They're both hanging onto a horn. Oh my gosh. Anytime I see a Muppet get thrown, I laugh like an idiot.
Yes.
It's so funny.
There are a couple scenarios like that, and it all involves that.
Yes, it's so funny.
On the old Married with Children, they did that a bit like that.
Oh, I think you mentioned that before on here.
Where
yeah.
that, like, Al would be working on the roof and he'd fall and they'd just be a
It's
fake
just
dumb,
so
they
funny.
didn't even try to like make it look realistic. It was even so much funnier that it was just so fake-ish.
It's something about just like a dummy, a clear dummy that's so funny.
Just hilarious. Yeah. It speaks to something that is so in every human being of laughing at somebody falling.
Yeah.
And while we all, like most of us don't want to laugh at that.
Yeah.
And on paper, you don't laugh at something like that.
Yeah.
In real life, like it's so one of those things.
Yeah.
In TV and movies, it's more of that where we do. Not in real life so much
Yeah.
that you laugh at it. Although we're capable of that too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's one of those universal things. It's the same thing with slipping on the ice.
Yeah.
We all do the same thing when we slip on ice. We slip, and we look around to see if anybody saw what we did there.
Yeah.
It's not so much if you fall. If you fall, you just kind of roll with it and just get up and move.
You'll lay there for a second.
It's the catching yourself fall.
Yeah.
It's the whoop. Anybody see me? I meant to, and then try to walk it off like,
Yeah,
like I meant to
very
do that.
human.
I meant to do that. I meant to. That's my move. My slip fall.
That's
what I
my
do.
move.
It's
my signature.
It's such an awkward, vulnerable moment of
Very vulnerable.
where you feel
Yeah.
like it, and you catch it. Look around. Anybody saw that? No, nobody saw it. Okay, cool.
I think I was in high school. I went to like check the mail in the house I grew up in. It was very icy in the driveway because there's like a dip in there. So I'm walking and I'm doing the whole like slip ballerina, like catching myself, and the mailman is like going on the other side of the block, and I like kind of caught myself, and I look up, doing what you just described. The mailman has his hand pointed out of there, laughing at me.
Oh God!
Like,
That's not right. That's not right.
No, I was like, what's wrong with you? I'm a child.
It's a child and a mailman. You can't do that
Right.
as the mailman.
Have some
You are a
respect.
public servant. You're not.
I mean, it was winter. He is probably very overworked.
Yeah,
It's like, hey, anything to make the day.
Yeah.
So-
Shout out to all the mail carriers out
Yes,
there. We
thank
really
you.
appreciate you. Underappreciated job in our
Yes,
society.
very. On that note, I have something to tell you off camera. I
Oh,
have
cool.
last year I wrote kind of a satire Christmas story. It's on Kindle Unlimited. It's called The World Ends Christmas Day by B.A. McCrae.
So good.
If you want to read it. But I don't know what it is about this time of year, but I just like writing Christmas satire, and I came up with one that's kind of on that vein. So I'll have
I'm
to
looking
tell you
forward
about
to
it
that.
off camera.
Okay, let's wrap this up so we can talk. Yeah. No, it is time to wrap
Yeah,
up.
thank you guys so much for listening and watching. As always, it's so much fun to just talk Muppets, knowing that you guys are on the other side of that screen or phone.
You guys make this so memorable for us, and we greatly appreciate every single one of you. And really looking forward to the next episode where we get to have some friends over.
Yes, I think that's the next episode, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think so.
Yeah, let me double check just in case, because I'm a weirdo and I keep all this in track.
I really appreciate that you do that.
So that'll be the 18th, the 21st episode.
Yeah,
So I believe that's
I think
the one.
so. Yeah.
Because the one after that is our Christmas episode.
Yay!
Where again we'll be featuring Emmett Otter's Christmas special.
Yes.
That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we're
we
looking
can't
forward
wait.
to that.
Well, on that note, if you want to support the podcast, you can follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at What the Muppet Pod. And if you want to shoot us an email with any thoughts, comments, or whatever, you can email us at whatthemuppet@gmail.com.
We appreciate you. We'll talk to you soon, Muppet Heads.
Yeah, see you later.